Welcome to another episode of Let's See Plans. I'm your host, KD, and today I have a special guest. She's a fitness trainer. She lost about 80 pounds. She's into art, family, and nature. Welcome, Jonesa, right? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Thank
So, what motivated you to start your weight loss journey, and what kept you going?
My main motivation really came from my mom. When I was younger, I watched her struggle with weight loss. She had gastric bypass surgery. She ended up actually passing away from it. So, that created me to explode in my weight loss. So,
Oh, wow.
it just took me into a space of I'm not doing it for me, I'm doing it for her. So that's what keeps me going.
Wow. How long ago your mom passed away?
Um, I'm 27, so when I was 11.
Oh, you was
So,
young.
yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, what were some of the biggest challenges you faced while, working out and stuff like that? Well, not working out, but while trying to lose weight.
So many people look up to you. So
Yeah.
that's the hardest part because it's not only for you at certain points.
Mm-hmm.
You really in it for the people surrounding you to let them know that no matter what they're going through, how hard it gets, only you can change your own lifestyle.
Yeah.
So really just remember that I'm in control of my own journey. Whether people come in or out, it's still going to be you at the end of the day. So that's a big motivator for me.
Okay. I like that because, I was on a weight loss journey. I didn't lose that much weight, but, you know, I used to try different things to keep me motivated. That's why I asked. So, how was your diet? Like, was there certain stuff you had to cut off or?
Well, going through a journey, you kind of go through ups and downs of what works, what doesn't work.
True.
Where I'm at currently, I'm a vegetarian, but
Oh,
I've been a pescatarian.
okay.
I've tried the, high fats, high foods, but then I also found Herbalife, which has honestly changed my life, where they have the structure, the meal plans, the accountability, the group chats, the support that helped me continue to keep going along the way. So that's something that has helped. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but for me, I'm vegan.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I don't say I'm vegan. I'm plant based. I'm
We'll
transitioning to.
take it there. Yeah,
Yeah,
plant-based.
I want to transition to alkaline. 'Cause,
Okay.
a lot of people don't know. Vegan is just because it's vegan doesn't mean it's healthy for you. Like
Exactly.
yeah. So I'm still doing my research on that. How long you been vegetarian?
Since February of this year, but before
Oh,
I did it for like 3 years when I was pescatarian, so it wasn't a hard transition, and it honestly make my body feel so lighter. Like it's the health benefits that come along.
so how does your body feel since you stopped eating red meat?
Well, the braces also helped.
The braces?
Yes,
We always say that.
surprisingly, because you can't chew a lot of foods with these.
True.
So
Okay.
transitioning from the red meat to plant based, it honestly was a softer food palette. My body feel cleaner. I had that like I don't feel bloated as much. 'Cause a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
feel
times
that
it
part.
takes time for you to process the food, so you just feel much lighter on your toes, honestly.
So, how long you got to wear your braces? 'Cause I had braces in the past, twice.
They say like maybe less than a year. I've had them for almost 2, but not quite. So it's been an experience, let's say the least.
Okay. Oh, that's what's up, though. That's what's up. So, what role did exercise play in your weight loss journey? And what type of workouts did you enjoy?
So exercise, I really started my exercising right at the lake. I lived in Shorewood, so I used to go to Atwater Park. I used to meet up with my accountability partner on Zoom, and I was doing
Yeah.
the step aerobics, anything to really keep in shape, keep active, because it's nutrition, but it's also that fitness. So that played a huge part into my journey now. And then I started doing, people wanted to know what I was doing. So they started to say, oh, can I come work out with you? So I did fit camps right at the lake at Clody Park. And then now I had the opportunity to be a fitness instructor at a
Oh,
local
okay.
gym. So it kind of transitioned over the last 3 years, not overnight, but
Yeah.
I was doing these things just for my own personal journey, and people just wanted to join me. So
So, how long you been a fitness trainer?
at Timmy Cobb's Fitness since May.
Oh, since
So-
May. Okay.
But I've been in the community teaching, just as well
Yeah.
before that.
So, how do you? So, do you enjoy what you do?
I do.
So the question what I meant to ask is, what about training other people you enjoy about?
Honestly, the camaraderie that comes along with it, because a lot of times people can work out, they can go to the gym, but the experience to be with a group really excites people to want to go a little bit harder, to want to push themselves, and just to see that at the end of the workout that they got something from it is what I get from it.
No, that's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. You know, I love hearing people's journeys of working out. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause for me, you know, how I started, I ran a lot, so I'm a runner.
Okay.
So now I gotta start toning up. I gotta start getting to weightlifting, tone up. You know what I mean? So, but that's what's up though. So like, you losing 80 pounds, how do you feel now, mentally and physically?
Mentally, it was a change because you have to shed the old version of yourself of who you imagine yourself to be in the mental space you were in.
Yeah.
So it's a transition of confidence boosting from the people around you, from yourself, and you know, so it's physically the clothes that you get to wear,
You're right.
the different sections you don't have to shop in anymore. I can
Yeah.
go to any store. I can look into any section and know like, oh, I can fit something over here versus I have to be over in this plus size area.
So like, when you was wearing plus size, like, how was that making you feel?
I mean, I was still that girl. I was still showing up and showing out, but it was that confidence that came when I shed the weight.
Okay, no, because reason I'm gonna ask because, like I said, I used to be big, so my weight be all in my hips. So I used to be shape. I ain't like that at all. So certain stuff I wear, I'm like, I used to be really like self-conscious. So that's why I asked.
Yeah.
And once I lost the weight and learned how to maintain my weight, it's like you said, like a confidence boost. Certain clothes you can wear, you ain't got to worry about. Well, for me, I ain't have to worry about how I'm going to look. So that's what's up though.
But jeans was one of those ones for me because jeans,
Yeah.
when you big, you can't pull them up past that little
Yeah.
gap. Like, but now to be able to pull them all the way up over my hips and really feel the jeans upon every part that it's supposed to fit on, that's like, that'd be a highlight.
That's what's up. So, what's your experience? How people treat you now since you lost the weight?
Oof. Somebody just told me recently, you got all that change and boy, it went to your head. I'm like, maybe it did.
You ain't wrong.
Maybe it did. Maybe I feel it myself. Like, I mean, maybe I am. But, you know, people do treat you like you Hollywood sometimes.
Yeah, I
get
agree.
that feel of like, you done lost weight, you this, you that. But it'd be like, if you want to come join me, just join me. You ain't even got to talk crazy. Like, you know, you don't have to be in the journey, but you can support the journey from the sidelines. So.
Yeah, I think when people act that way, I think they just inspired. No, not inspired. What's that word I'm looking for? Maybe inspired or maybe, okay, I can use the word inspired. They just, like, shit, you know, you're a inspirational.
Yeah.
Like, they see how you used to look, now you make that change, and people are like, oh, wow. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I definitely feel you on that part. I feel you on that part. So, how people can get in contact with you if they want to get your service of working out?
So we have our classes online at timmycobbsfitness.com where you can easily sign up for an appointment, which is signing up for a workout class. We have memberships, drop-in fees. You can also follow me on Instagram, j.ariel.p. That's a good way to contact me just instantly. I'm usually checking my DMs to make sure you know we got people in and out. Or on Facebook, Jonesa Chisholm. Super simple. Try not to make it too complex for people to find you these days.
Yeah, definitely. So what I want to ask you is, how do you find balance of working, you know, being a fitness trainer, and still make time for yourself?
Well, I'm a full-time analytical chemist, so that takes my day-to-day life, my 9 to 5, quote-unquote life. But then I go and do the fitness classes that pours into my cup by pouring into the community. And then when it comes to personal time, I honestly just go home, shut off the lights, stop talking to people, and I really go in that shell. I'm a Cancer, so, you know, they say we, yes,
When your birthday?
7/11.
Oh, okay. I'm June 27th.
Okay, all right, you're a June Cancer.
Yeah, yeah.
Different. You got a little different, but that's all right. But, you know, I just really take time for solitude. Another thing is I'll get in the car and just drive.
Right.
I just went 12 hours last weekend somewhere just because I'm like, I could get away for a weekend. I pay a car note, I'm going to use the money on it.
Yeah,
You know
for
what I
real.
mean?
For
So,
real.
you know, a good drive is something for me.
Where did you went to?
I went to Atlanta for the weekend.
Oh, okay. First time going out there?
No.
Oh, okay, okay.
I'm up there pretty frequent. I have some good friends up there that, really help me stay grounded. So I like to just go places where people make me feel good.
So maybe I'm asking you the same way, but how do you find time to work out?
That's difficult sometimes, but it's not at the same time because I can work out with my people at 5 a.m. I can stay after class to work out, pour into my own cup. I can also come to any of our other classes that we hold. We have classes at 5 p.m. Monday through Thursday, so I'll get off work, go to the class. I still get that community, that camaraderie. But it's really like the days where I'm not in the class or training, I still have that time where I wake up earlier to make sure that I'm still pouring into my cup, wake up to
Yeah.
do some meditation, things like that. So
So what is your advice for someone who's, struggling to start working out?
honestly, just take it one day at a time. You do not have to be a 5-day gym girly at 5 a.m. Like, just start with one day that works for you. And then, slowly start to integrate it into your daily, like, regimen. And find things that you enjoy. Like, I do a lot of community runs. We got the MKE bikes. We got the yoga in the city. Like, find communities that really pour into your cup so it makes working out fun. Like, it don't have to be just in the gym, going hard, you leave and you sweaty and you tired. Like, go around people that make you feel good.
That's great advice. That's great advice. That's great advice. So how does, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. So what first sparked your love for nature and how has it grown over time?
When I was younger, my mom and my grandpa, they always took us camping. So we
Okay.
used to go up to the Lake of the Woods, and, that's where my love of nature come. We just run outside with no shoes, just in the
Okay.
country. My mom, she always wanted to have, like, a farm, per se, with the animals, the chickens. We didn't quite see that through, but, it was like that love that she put into us about being in nature. And so, like, even with my recent birthday, instead of going to club and party, I invited all my family to go camping. So,
That's dope.
just staying connected, and I love looking at the stars. Like, that really keeps me grounded at night. Like, sometimes I'm like, it's too many lights, so.
Yeah, because someone told me this. Like, if you go on a walk, like in the nature, you feel a lot better about yourself. Or what you're going through, your anxiety calms down. I never experienced it, but that's something I would like to do. But what I want to ask is, do you find a spiritual connection in nature? If so, how does it manifest for you?
My spiritual connection with nature is more of like a grounding experience. It's more of that peace and that serene. I like to just go on nature walks and just get lost in the woods. One of those people that be like, any, mini, money, mo, which path should I go kind of people. And it really, it just makes me feel better at the end of the walk or, the journey, or just even sitting outside for 2 minutes is beneficial.
That's what's up. Yeah, I gotta take a page from your book. You got any recommendations on where I can walk to?
Well, I stay by like Hubbard Park area, so
Yeah.
I'm a hop, skip, and a jump from all areas. But honestly, what trail is that? Oakleaf Trail. That's a good trail to walk on because you can walk from any direction and it'll get you somewhere. So, and they have that like all the way up to the Menominee River. So
Okay.
anywhere along the river, honestly.
Okay.
Good river walk.
And it's crazy, not crazy, but it's funny because my grandfather, he was real big on nature. Like I remember as a kid, he'll take me, my sister, my cousin, we would feed ducks in the water. So I wouldn't mind doing stuff like that. It's very relaxing. Yeah, it's funny that you said that. I had a flashback when you was telling me your experience.
Yeah.
But so how does nature inspire your creativity or hobbies?
Sometimes I like to do my art in nature, so I get all my paint supply and go find a picnic table and just paint while I'm outside, or
Okay.
draw. I'm more of like an abstract painter. Sometimes I start a painting and just sit for a while, but it's gonna get done.
So do you think your love of nature inspire you to like art and be involved in the community too?
Maybe so. Maybe so. Especially with coming up in Milwaukee, we only get these summer months and spring months for so long. So as soon as the outside time come, I'm in everything outside, everything community because I love being around the people and seeing the different faces that are getting inspired by other people around them are highlights.
So what inspired you to get into art?
Art, I really started doing art when I was younger. In high school, I took a bunch of art classes, and then my degree, when I was in school for biology, I did arts and cultures was one of my like certificate classes. So I did a lot of like film, theater, art, painting, pottery, things like that. Really, because science is hard, but when
Yeah.
you have that like decompression moment, it's always been my like sense of relief and that moment of just like being able to breathe.
Okay. Okay. So, do you think painting has helped with your mental health?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially when days feel heavy, and that's why I love abstract painting because you don't have to go with a concept.
Now, what is that?
So
Explain.
that's kind of like where you just kind of go with the flow, like
So you just paint whatever comes to your mind.
literally. Like a lot of my
Oh,
paintings are just like me mixing a bunch of colors, and like I really love to layer my paints, or do you take different elements and you scratch into your paint, or you paint with your fingers, and like I just it gives you that sense of like you can be a kid again.
that's what's up. So, what is that one movie? Um, I forgot the name of the movie, but I think he had died. Then he became like a ghost whisperer. Nah, he wasn't a ghost whisperer. It was Whoopi Goldberg in it. You know what I'm talking about? Well,
Maybe not.
damn, what's that movie? Damn, I gotta Google it now. I forgot, but it's like, but it was a scene where they make like different stuff out of clay. I don't know what you call that.
Pottery.
And that's the name of it, pottery. So I take it as, do you do that as well? Or
I
no?
did pottery for
Okay.
a class when I was in college,
Okay.
and I still have some of the pieces around my house. I use them as vases or key bowls. I gave some to my grandma. A lot of my art is hanging on my family's walls.
So where do you think your creativity come from?
Oh, it definitely comes from my dad's side of the family. A lot of them are artists and painters. I'm like the one who went to school for it all, but they all have the talent for it all.
So let me guess. Have you tried to be a rapper before?
Sometimes I call myself a rappernologist, but you gotta catch me in the moment. I'm like one of them like flow in a second kind of thing. Like I don't be having it off my dome, but like you might catch me in the moment where I just get the riffing and I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, let's wrap it up. That was fun.
Yeah, no, because I could just based on the conversation we having and what you sharing with me, I can tell like you're very creative with like anything you do. You have a creative mind. You have a creative imagination. If I'm saying that right. That's dope. And a lot of people don't tap into that. Especially the time we live in. That's why I feel real bad for children because their mind is so wrapped up on the tablets and stuff like that. And I believe that's blocking their imagination.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no matter what age you are, you always can still use your imagination. So I really admire that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. That's what's up. That's what's up. So, where did your love for the community started?
So when my mom was growing up, she was doing like I don't know if you remember Jam for Peace stuff
Yeah, I
like
remember
that.
that. I remember
Yeah,
that.
so she was one of the organizers for that. She
Okay.
did. We did a lot like Boys and Girls Club, the Reading for America. She was the PTA coordinator. So like that's where my introduction to community work. We're such a big family, so it was like you got to find something for all these kids to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so to get them involved and be showing them what it has, and then we had the foster kids, so we always had like community events to go to. So I've always been raised around that. And then my grandma, she was an events coordinator of Wisconsin. So
Yeah.
she would take the different ambassadors who come over on tours in Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
So, that was the introduction just growing up. I always was around that community sense and that community base. So when it came to me in my adult life, it was just kind of like second nature to be in community.
Okay. So, what do you think? How do you think the community can get better? What's the steps? I'm saying this. I'm making sure I'm wrong. What the steps does the community have to take to get better?
Honestly, just coming together more often. It's the camaraderie that's missing sometimes, where people are such divided in these groups of community, where they're getting a community with one another, but they're not getting community together. So I think it's
Right.
really just that together community instead of like us versus them. So
Yeah, I agree.
think that would change it.
So, what are the things you do to contribute to the community? I know you say you be hosting like workout classes. Is there anything else you do as well?
I really like to support a lot of community.
Okay.
So I like to do the farmers market, supporting the black owned. Like a lot of the jewelry that I'm wearing is from local artists and things like that. So I like to go to those small pop up shops and
Yeah.
really support the ones coming up because we know that you can find all of this stuff online for real cheap. The earrings,
Yeah.
I'm in Madison community as well, so my aunt's the older woman there. So I, make sure I'm in community in all different facets of Wisconsin, not just Milwaukee. So.
That's what's up. That's one of my reasons why I started this podcast, to get back to my community. Because I want somebody to listen to someone's story so they can be inspired. You know what I'm saying? And plus, too, I want to like grow my brand too, not just in Milwaukee.
What's your brand?
Like Let's See Plants, that's my brand. So I want to like expand. So I ain't gonna share my secrets because I don't know nobody to. But I'll tell you off the camera.
We can talk.
Yeah.
About that one.
So you mentioned your mom. You said your mom passed away when you was 11. My dad passed away recently. Yeah, so what I want to ask is, how do you deal with grief?
It's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
It's a roller coaster, boy.
I'm still learning that.
Sometimes it's super slow, and you be like, you know what, I'm good. And then some days you just miss them a bunch, and you just like, I ain't good today. So it's really finding those people that you can confide in those moments, and not people who make you feel like you need to get over it. Because you
Right.
will encounter those people who say like, you've been crying about this forever. You eventually gonna have to, it's crazy to say, but you experience those type of people when it comes to grief because they don't know how to handle their grief or they've been told to suppress theirs. So when it comes to, giving that to somebody else, it's a little harsh. So really just finding those people that can relate, but also not necessarily give you advice, just be there to comfort you.
Yeah, I definitely, no, that's a valid point. I just, I'm gonna be straightforward with you. You losing your mom at 11 years old and you still here. That's like, I applaud you. You know what I'm saying? So like, you've been 11-year-old. Like, how was that processing at a young age?
Well,
How did you process that at a young age?
honestly, I didn't think it was real at first. Like for the first couple of years, it was a surreal feeling. But as you grow, you kind of become more independent, and you feel like I always say, you got to be your own advocate for everything in life. So it's like you really got to stand on your own two toes. Yeah, I had a lot of people support me, but it was a lot of moments where you just out here in the world, and you got to figure it out. And I did. Here I am today, but it's not always easy.
It's not. Well, for your situation, it's not, because I couldn't imagine how my life would be if I didn't have my parent at just your age.
Yeah.
I mean, I said at your age. At that age.
Yeah, it was a crucial age.
Yeah, it is very young. So who's the people who was giving you that support, that mentorship, if I'm saying it correctly?
Yeah, it was more so like my grandma,
Okay.
both of them, my godparents, they were big on helping out with that. My aunts, my uncles, the people along the way that I met. Like I ended up putting myself through college, making sure I was getting in high school, making sure I was doing all these things. You have those people to support you, but it was some tough time, because
imagine.
the type of support you need, you don't always know how to express.
Right.
And that's the difficult part.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, what's your advice for someone who's dealing with grief, especially at a young age, during that time for you?
Just breathe some days. If that's all you got, just breathe.
Yeah.
Like that's the best advice I can give. Just know that today might be hard, but tomorrow might be a little bit easier.
Yeah. Because I lost my dad in July. He had a heart attack. It was unexpected.
Yeah.
And losing him, that shit changed my whole. Yeah, it was
How have
like.
you been dealing with that?
I had my days. Like last night, I woke up just crying. You know what I'm saying? Because I had a dream. It was crazy. I had a dream about him, and I woke up crying like him. You know what I'm saying? And just really being in tune with my emotions, and then like you had said, just going to the people you can confide into, and that's how I've been dealing with it. Really, honestly, too, the main person I've been really talking to is God. I ain't gonna lie, like God been getting me through this, because it's like, yeah, he been giving me the strength. Because when people ask me how you doing, I'm like, I'm hanging in there, and that's the truth. I'm hanging in there, but God been giving me the strength. So really, just leaning on God. That's been my number one thing, is that. Yeah.
It's critical.
Yeah, very critical, very critical. So, while you losing your mom at 11, that's why I can't even imagine that. But I definitely want to say I applaud you first or still continue to keep going. Because
Oh, yeah.
most people be, you know, stuck in that victim mentality. You know what I'm saying? I feel like your testimony can inspire others.
Oh yeah, I had a moment with my family. We had a balloon release. I think about 2 years back. I invited all my family to the park, set them all in a circle, and I told every single last one of them how I felt about how they made me feel in that time span of me growing up and losing her, and that made me feel better.
That's good.
Like you gotta air people out sometimes. I ain't gonna lie. Like
Man.
you got to air them out.
Dog.
And you know when you say what you say and you come back and you say, and one more thing, like I had to
Man.
do that for the one time because all of that was harboring on my spirit and that was hindering my growth. So it was like just tell people how you really feel.
I agree.
So,
I agree. Yeah.
so it's okay if you need to do that one day.
Nah,
That's
it's-
just the validation that it's
Man, I should have that already. Man, I ain't gonna, because, I don't want to say no name.
yeah, we keep them cute, but
Yeah, but
you
like
know.
certain individuals, hey, well, I ain't gonna say individual. No, certain individual, you know what I'm saying, made me feel some type of way with my dad passing. And, I ain't want to be that type to be like throwing certain things in a person's face, because, I'm
Yeah.
gonna keep it, like you said, keep it cute.
Like,
But-
you got it.
But it's just like sometimes a person, you give an inch, they take a mile. And like, you know what, fuck it, I gotta tell you how I feel. And you can take how you wanna take it. I'm saying out of love, but I gotta tell you this. You know
That's
what I'm
the
saying?
cancer in us.
Yeah,
we
like-
be trying to
like-
spare them, but
Yeah.
then like you gonna have to hear it.
Yeah, cause like, okay.
I ain't no way I can sugarcoat it.
Yeah, cause it's like you, all right, one moment, okay, I'm gonna let that slide. Second moment, I'm gonna let that slide. Third, okay, now I gotta feel you.
Now you think you. Now you
Yeah,
think you
no, I gotta let you have it. So when you said that part, I 100% agree to that. Cause one thing I tell people about grief, it shows people around you and it shows you who you are. And I believe me just listen to you, it shows you the type of person you are. I feel like you're a strong individual. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
This
I
is
ain't-
my first like public talking about the experience
Okay.
too. So.
I'm glad you came on sharing that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Man. So, you come from a big family. Now, how many siblings you got? You don't mind sharing that? If you
We
don't.
got 18 of us, good
18?
ones. Yeah.
Damn, that's a lot. So, you the oldest?
No, I'm the youngest girl, but I'm like almost like the middle child.
So, how was it like growing with a lot of siblings?
So at most oftentimes there were at least 12 to 15 people in the household. Like we always had duplexes, like
Okay.
large and in charge. I'm like, I don't know what these parents do for work, but they taking care of us all. And then we also had foster kids. So it was never a dull moment in the house. You always had somebody to lean on. I don't even remember having babysitters because we just watched each other kind of thing. Like, like that's how it was where, we all looked out for each other. We had each other's back. So that was definitely good upbringing.
Okay. So, you coming from a big family, do you see yourself being married and having a big family as well?
I do. I see myself being married with the right person and having kids with the right person. And we always say like, oh, you can't find the perfect person, but there is the perfect person for me out there.
Yeah, for you. Perfect.
Yeah, and I'm willing to be taken care of, but I also can take care of myself.
So when you say that way, most women, not saying you, they believe they don't have. I'm gonna be straightforward. What's your perspective on like 50-50? Like, do you believe in 50-50? You believe a man's supposed to take care of everything? What's your perspective?
Well, I don't believe you have to take care of everything, but I do like to be in that submissive role where if you give me the confidence that you can be dominant, and vice versa, there can be, that switching roles as well. But, I don't mind being taken care of, but I've had to get it on my own, so I know how to get it.
So when you said you want someone to allow you to be in a submissive role, what are the things that man can allow you to be that? If I'm asking that right.
Honestly, it's the way you carry yourself. It's the demeanor that you give me, that solitude that I can relax when I'm with you. I have so much going on in my day-to-day life. If you're somebody that when I come around you, I can just melt and just be like, you got it. I ain't even got to pick up nothing, open the door, none of that, because I do all of that for myself. So anything anybody brings is extra, but I don't want you to make me feel like it's extra.
Got it.
Like, you know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it make perfect sense. It make perfect sense. So like, what is your damn? Hold on, I turned my phone off. I thought I remembered the question. I thought, hold on. So, how do you find? How do you define a healthy relationship?
Communication.
Okay.
That is, for me, like the number one thing. Communication and honesty. I'm currently dating, but
Okay.
there were moments where I had to be completely honest to keep the open ends of communication. Because if I hold one thing in, how is that going to help us grow in the future?
Right.
So really just be in that space of like, can I trust you with my honesty? Can I communicate my honesty with you without, yes, you can have your experience of how you go about, reacting to my truth, but also don't take that as a burden of truth kind of thing. You know what I mean?
So like being in a relationship, how do you find time for self-love? Because sometimes people who's in a relationship, they so focused on pouring into them and not themselves, but it's not intentional. They just not, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how do you have that self-awareness of not to fall in that trap?
You just have to really take a minute when you feel like, because I'm obsessed with you, number one.
Clingy.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But I have to take a step back and say, okay, let me be clingy to myself for a minute. Let me remind myself that with or without this person, I still have to pour into my cup. And also to be reminded by your partner to pour into your cup. That's important. Because sometimes your partner has to recognize that you have poured so much into them that, hey, maybe you need to take a day for yourself. But, oh, you may be right about that. So being reminded in that way can be essential as well. So, but that's where communication comes.
Yeah, communication and understanding. No, comprehension. That's what I'm looking for. 'Cause people can't comprehend. So they lie.
No.
They pick and choose. But no, but that's some good advice. That's some good advice. So how do you approach vulnerability in a relationship?
Sometimes you gotta squeeze it out of me. But
Why you say that? Well, you like showing your emotions or something?
I mean, I'm a marshmallow if you're the right person. But like when I get emotional or feel feelings, I get real in my head and I won't really speak on my feelings because there's so many thoughts rambling. So it's like getting with somebody that asks you the right questions to create that vulnerable space versus somebody that said, just tell me what's wrong. Just tell me what's wrong. And you're just like, I don't know how to express it, but having somebody to really break down, like, so what is the emotion that you're currently feeling? Okay, next step. And asking those questions to lead you to understand because sometimes we don't understand our own emotions. So,
I agree.
Just having that communication, that safe space to feel like, okay, if you ask me those questions, I can effectively answer.
So how do you allow your man to be vulnerable with you?
Allow the same space. Allow the same. Everything that I want to receive, I have to give back, and I have to be conscious of giving that back.
It's deep. Because most people don't have that self-awareness. And some people be selfish in their own way. Yeah, no, that's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep.
I mean, this didn't come overnight. Hey,
Hey,
my ex said, hey, you a whole nother person. I said, listen. I've done a lot of growth, personal development. I also, help other people with their personal development. So it's like, I got to be a preacher in what I'm practicing, and vice versa.
So what was that moment that realized, like, maybe I need to work on myself?
The mental breakdowns, the mental locking that I had on my own self. And that came through personal development, just watching, how I interact with myself.
Okay.
So just a lot of self-awareness and self-evaluation was definitely what was the thing for me.
I feel you on that part. Same here. I think isolation helped me out a lot. Sitting alone, I'm like, damn, why am I acting this way? Oh, because of this and that. You putting two together, like, damn, I never knew that. And sometimes you would cry, just like, damn, I wish I knew this. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, that's good though. So this is my last question. What advice would you give someone about seeking a meaningful relationship?
Know who you are going into it, and don't expect from them a version of someone.
Mm.
Because
Explain that.
because when you go into something, you say, I want this kind of person, I want that kind of person, I want the person to do this and that. You are really closing yourself off from accepting a person at face value, because you taking who they came as, and then you're saying, well, you don't meet this box. Okay, boom, that disqualifies you. You don't meet this box. Somebody asked me too, like, what is your non-negotiables? Your non-negotiables have to change with each person, because you have to allow grace for the person they're coming in as. So really, to create a meaningful relationship, you have to just understand who you came as and be open to whoever they come as. Yes, you can say, like, I don't want that, I don't want this, but really just be open to who they are coming in.
That's really deep. And I believe a lot of people live in that fairy tale world, you know.
Delusion is
And
fine.
I was one of them too.
Delusion is cool.
Yeah, I was one of them too. I was one of them too. But sometimes, you know, it's back what you said. Just, you know, man, you said a lot, and I can't. My memory ain't the best. But my point, I'm saying, you saying a lot of real stuff, especially you said about grace and stuff like that. And I believe a lot of people have a hard time with that. That's why relationships don't work out. Because people want that be married. They want that grandmother and grandfather love, but like they ain't willing to go through the obstacles to get to that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You give me that soft, not soft. What's that word I'm looking for? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, you seem very mature.
Yeah. Well, that comes from just growing up and
Yeah.
having to do so many things on my own. Well, yes, to support the sidelines, but like I didn't have a choice.
But see, like, I really admire you because it's like most people be stuck in their ways. I ain't saying you perfect. I'm pretty sure you got flaws like we all do, but like people be stuck in their ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, they be stuck in that toxic ways, and yeah. So I admire. I keep saying admire, but I really admire you a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of you. So, but that's all the questions I have. I want to say thank you for your time, and I keep repeating myself, but I am very proud of you because it's like the stuff like the stuff you've been sharing with me. You know what I'm saying? Like the stuff you overcame, you still keep going, and I believe your testimony is going to inspire people. You know what I'm saying? And keep going. 'Cause I know it's not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep going, and you know whatever I can do to help what I'm looking for. Promote. I think that's the name. Promote your business or whatever. Please let me know. I would love to see you win. You give good energy. You have good energy.
Thank you.
Yeah. So.
Thank you.